Hi, everyone. Well, you're as bothered as I am when the media, in an attempt to do fact-checking, and that's good, puts a false equivalence of one candidate's misstatements to another when the intensity is not the same. For example, Tim Walz was called upon that he had said he was in China or Hong Kong at the time of the Tiananmen massacres, when in fact apparently he'd been there a month later. And he'd been to China many, many times, and perhaps, legitimately, he put everything together. Oh, I must have been there then, and he wasn't. Okay, fine. So they call him on that. And he says, I misspoke. I'm a knucklehead. But then they will put that on the news right next to what J.D. Vance said about Trump saved Obamacare, when in fact he tried to kill it. Or when Vance talked about abortion rights when he's always been against it. Or when he poo-pooed the January 6th situation as if it was nothing important. And then when, Walz asked, did Trump win the election? And Vance said, well, I want to talk about the future, and would not admit that Trump had lost the election. Now, how those statements by Vance can be equal to the statement by Walz is ridiculous. In point of fact, he also, apparently there was a flub about how he had left the National Guard, where he served Walz for 24 years as a command sergeant major. He had been promoted to that. He was doing the work of a command sergeant major, but because he didn't go to a course to conclude everything and decided to run for Congress, he retired, and his rank was reduced to, I believe, First Sergeant E8 or something like that. But it's not as if he lied about being a command sergeant major. He was. And yet, those are the two things. Oh, he really wasn't in China during Tiananmen Square, and he actually retired as an E8 and not an E9. Something is wrong with the way the media is putting these false equivalences for both Vance and Trump against Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. And I hope you agree, because I'm voting for Kamala and Tim.